So I've been playing around with this idea for a little while now. I want to build apartments inspired by different video game genres, like RPGs, cozy games, the classics, etc. And I want all of the apartments in The Sims 4 to look like they actually would if they were in that style of game. But for a build like this, I don't think the apartments should be set inside a normal house. If the rooms themselves are going to look like they're in a video game, then the shell and the exterior of the house should be the console, right? So at first I tested out this computer theory. I thought maybe I could make the shell look like a computer. I used a glass wallpaper at the front for the windows so that you can see into each apartment. But while I do like this idea, I feel like I just did something similar on my channel. With the dollhouse apartments, they had the glass wallpaper on the outside, then you could see into them, and I feel like it was just too similar. I am gonna keep this though. Maybe we can keep this for a different build in the future. So I kept looking for inspiration, which for me normally consists of scrolling on Pinterest until my eyes cross. Side note, my Pinterest has been slapping lately, so I think we're gonna have to do another Pinterest deep dive Sims 4 video soon. But this is how I landed on the pinball machine idea. Pinball machines are always so unique looking, and I love the retro look of them as well. They always have some sort of pattern or theme going on. They're bold, full of color, neon lights. Plus, I really do think I can make this shell quite easily in The Sims 4. So I'm gonna start off, I'm just building a new crest for now on a 40 by 30 lot. I'm gonna take my room tool and we'll start out by building the legs. Pinball machines are always up on like metal legs at the bottom, and our build is gonna need something to stand on. I might make these a medium wall height just so that our build is gonna be further off the ground. And later on, this is also where we can add a ladder so that Sims can get into the build. Okay, so paging up, I have my grid on. Then I'm going to take my room tool again, and I'm gonna draw a room connecting onto the legs. So right now our build looks like this. It looks like a really basic table or a bed from Minecraft. So next we're gonna build the back part, and this is normally where you can see the score. There's always some kind of image going on here, so we'll use that part to decorate later. And then all we have to do to make the pinball machine come alive, we have to use this half-gabled roof piece. I'm gonna rotate this and add it onto this floor. I'm bringing in both of the adjusters using these triangle pieces. We'll cover this way, and I'll bring it all the way across to this room. We're going to lower it down. I'll have it sitting about there, and then we need to go into roof patterns. This is where we can find this glass wallpaper from base game, and I'm just going to apply that on there. And there we have our pinball shape. Like I said, so easy to make that work, but now we have the fun part. Now we get to decorate it. First, I'm going to grab some metal wallpaper. This one is from Eco Lifestyle, and I'm adding that onto the legs. I think I want my pinball machine to be pink with like pink wall decals, maybe some graffiti or something on there. So next I'm going to take this pink wallpaper from base game, and I'm gonna add that all over the outside. We need a thick roof trim for this, so I'm gonna add that on there. And then I also want to clean up the top a little bit, so I'm going to take a platform tool and I'm just going to trace onto the top. I'm gonna click onto the platform and we're gonna raise it up by a couple ticks. From there we can add a platform paint. I'm gonna make my wall heights a little bit bigger so that I can add trim. So I'm gonna add this one on here from Get Famous. And I also want to add a trim along the bottom to clean it up even more. I'm going to add some columns on here onto the edges. So this one's from Spa Day. I'm gonna grab the arrow and just bring that up to the top. We'll do the same thing on both sides. And then I'll do the same thing along the bottom here as well. Just 4 columns around all of the legs of the pinball machine. So with the columns, this is what we got. And then to make sure we have a way into this thing, on one of the back legs, I'm going to add a door. Then in there, we can add a ladder that's going to lead up into this room. And just to make sure we're on the right track for our spacing, I am going to work on a floor plan right now. This way, if we have to adjust, we can do it before we go inside. I'm gonna make this long, weird, windy hallway. Not really the most ideal thing, but if we're inside a pinball machine, I think the layout has to look a little weird. And I think we can fit 4 apartments in here today. So if I section them off like this, then we can have 4 different apartments here, and we still have this back section as well, which I'm thinking we could turn into a communal area. Maybe it could be a small gaming space for everybody. I'm gonna add my stairs like this, which by the way is a great tip if you're working in smaller spaces. You can add your stairs on top of another one. So like, I don't want to have to use up more space for more stairs for the second floor. So I'm just gonna place them right on top like that. Now we can get up to the 3rd floor. It's gonna be tight, but we can still add something in here. Okay, we have everything laid out. So looking at the top part of pinball machines, they always have the score on them. So you're gonna see numbers somewhere on the board. So I'm gonna go onto the gallery and we're gonna search up numbers and I'm switching my category over to rooms. Now we're gonna have a bunch of these different options for paintings of numbers. So I'll download these ones and then we can just lay them out like this. So I'll add some random numbers right here and then I'll add them up top as well. I know I'm gonna want to use a lot of different lights on this. So I'm adding the RBG strip lights from high school years along the top. I'll add them along the bottom here near the glass. These are gonna go pretty much everywhere. I can also come in and change the color of these so it's gonna really glow at nighttime. Another one I think could work here are the lights from Spa Day. So I'm just adding those on the side and I was looking through for some graffiti or some wall decals. And first I found these from Lovestruck. I'm adding these heart decals along the side. Cute. I also saw Lovestruck had this wall decal. We could add this on here. Maybe I'll make it a little bit bigger and then it can go here. But I do still want to make sure our build has windows. We technically have the glass ceiling, but I still want to give our Sims something. So maybe we can use these windows from For Rent. I'm adding them so they're going beside the decal I just added. And then I'll do the same thing on the other side. And then there are a couple other features of a pinball machine that I don't want to forget. On the sides of them, you're going to have the buttons and those are going to control the little like flippers, which is what would shoot the ball up. They're also going to have the handle that you would pull to release the ball. And at the front, there's also the coin slot area. So for the coin part, I'm going to add this wallpaper from Strangerville. Also from Strangerville, I'm adding these lights. These can maybe look like where you would insert a coin. I'm also adding these vents from Journey to Batuu. And just for aesthetic purposes, I'm adding these lights from Journey to Batuu as well. I saw these feel like they could be the buttons on the side. So I'm just going to have to shift over my windows a tiny bit. And then I can add this light and I'll size it up. So now we have one button on this side. I'm gonna come over here and do the same thing. And then I also want this wall decal on this side too. I would love a big neon sign here on the board. So I'm gonna add this one. This is from Get to Work. We can add more of these heart decals right here. And then I was thinking we add a graffiti on this wall, like those ones from Lovestruck. And then also just for aesthetic, I'm gonna add a chimney right on top. And then for the handle part, I'm gonna open up debug. We're gonna go bb.show hidden objects and bb.show live edit objects. And I'm basically just looking for a stick, something that can be part of the handle that you would like pull out. I found this could work. This is like a hammer for like a kid's toy or something. I've sized it up, so I'm gonna raise it up so it's sticking out of this area right here. And I'll just connect that on, making sure it's not going through the wall. Okay, we're good. That looks so funny. Now I just need a ball, which we could use one of the dog balls. Oh, this one has a heart on it. It matches the aesthetic of our pinball machine. So I raised that up and I placed it attaching onto the stick, and that's going to be the part that you would pull. Okay, I do want a landscape around this. I feel like it's going to look even more complete once the inside is done. So for landscaping, I'm grabbing this tree from Businesses and Hobbies, and I'm going to size that up in the background. I'm also going to be surrounding this with pink trees, and then I want a nice pathway leading from the door to the sidewalk. I'm sizing up some succulents from Cats and Dogs, adding a little more landscaping to the surrounding area, and after adding everything, this is how our pinball machine house turned out. I think this build is so fun. To be honest, it turned out even more pinball-like than I expected, but we're not done yet. We do still have to do the interior. Down below, I added this mailbox. There's also a trash can under here, so it's kind of like out of the way. And we could even add stuff underneath the pinball machine if we wanted to as well. Like I could add a pool down there or like a picnic spot. Maybe I'll come back out here and add something. I do want to test it just to make sure my sim can get in here. So he's heading over, he's gone in the door, he's going up the ladder, and oh yeah, this is gonna work. Okay, so now going back to the original part of this challenge, I want the interiors to be different video game genres. So I think I'm gonna start over here in this one, and I think for this I'll start off with RPG. So of course RPG stands for role-playing games. So in this genre, you're playing as the character or even multiple characters immersed in a world where you make the decisions. You drive the storyline and usually advance through some kind of skill tree. There's usually combat involved, tons of lore, and gorgeous open world landscapes to explore. So my favorite kind of RPG is a fantasy style RPG. So that's the style that I'm gonna go for this genre. I think I want stone flooring. I'm using this one from Journey to Batuu, and I want this to sort of resemble a camp, a place that you would go at nighttime to like save your game, maybe restock on your inventory or do some crafting, cooking. It'll be a home base essentially. My personal favorite RPG is Baldur's Gate. It has been for a couple years now. I'm currently replaying it because I'm pretty sure they're coming out with a show, which is super exciting. I can't wait for that. But since RPGs normally have some kind of combat, I've added some swords. I want lanterns here on these tables. And then I think we need some backpacks. I want this to represent your character's inventory. We could even add chests as well, but I'll have 2 backpacks here by the bed. And actually, let's use this dresser from Werewolves. In games like this, you're usually constantly upgrading, you're constantly learning new things. So I want to add a bunch of books around. Cluttered books on the floor, weird, mysterious books. I'll add this over here from Cats and Dogs. And I need something to represent the skill tree. So I'm gonna add that there. That's from Dine Out. And I'm thinking about adding symbols to the branches of the tree. My first thought was to check out cross-stitching art on the gallery because people come on here and upload images onto the cross-stitching. It works the same way that paintings do. Like, you can make your own, and I feel like these would be really fun. These ones are definitely a little more cozy than I'm looking for, but they're so cute. I'm gonna save these. I might save these for the cozy game genre. Like, how cute are those to put on your wall? There's little mushroom ones down here, a dog. All right, so I found these ones. These ones are kind of cute. They match a little bit. I'll attach some of them onto the branches. Maybe we haven't fully maxed the skill tree yet, but we've got to start. Other items I'm adding here are this book. I'll add some swords. A lot of the time also these games are influenced by like D&D sort of thing. So I'm gonna add in this games table right in the middle. It matches our aesthetic and I think it's a fun thing for Sims to do. Underneath I'm adding this rug from Realm of Magic, and we do still need a kitchen. Our bathroom is gonna be over to the right here, but for the kitchen I'm using this fridge from base game. Ideally I would just have a fire pit, or in games like this I feel like you just have to click on the oven, so I'll add one single oven on its own. That one's from base game. You're also often advancing in like your armor, so maybe I add this. This could be an old outfit of ours. Ooh, the arrows. Maybe one of these characters specializes in archery, and I would love for all of these to actually have video games available. These Sims are going to be gaming on the tiniest little TV from the basement kit. I'll add our console on the floor. They do have chairs here so they can sit and technically play on the TV that way. And we're gonna need a map. There's generally some kind of exploring going on in a game like this. Okay, so this is the main room. This looks so cool. Sims are gonna have everything they need in here. There's stuff to do for them. They can play their video games. They can play actual tabletop games. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this door. I got it from the royal event that's going on right now in base game. So if you have base game, finish the event soon and you can get this door too. For the bathroom here, I'm going for a very similar vibe. I want it to be somewhere where you would stop in fairly quickly, so I'm adding a shower. I'll add a sink over here. I'll add a picture and maybe just like a tiny plant on the sink. All right, there we go. Our bathroom is complete and we're done with our RPG inspired apartment. Okay, let's move on from here. We'll go across the hall. By the way, I did add these lights everywhere from businesses and hobbies, again, just so it looks cooler from the outside. Next is the cozy game genre, and this genre gives off more of a feeling than anything else. These are games that are usually meant to be relaxing. You might play these games to wind down. A lot of them include some kind of creative elements, whether it's decorating or customizing your character. The stakes are usually low and you're probably playing this while wrapped up in a giant blanket. Oh, and there is a lot of farming included in this category. Okay, so my front door is going to be right here. I'm using flooring from Eco Lifestyle, and I think I want to go orangey with the interior. Maybe something fun like this base game wallpaper, and we need to include the coziest setup for this sim. I'm gonna add a single bed here from high school years. I want lots of rugs. We could use this one from the Pastel Pop Kit, and our setup can be right over here. I want tons of cozy seating like these poofs and these pillows, and then we can have a comfy beanbag chair facing this way. The only thing with this build is the lighting is a little bit weird, and I also can't add any overhead lighting because technically it wouldn't be coming from anything. So that's why I'm adding a bunch of lamps in here. We definitely need this little lamp from Enchanted by Nature. Like, he just looks so cozy. Oh, and this one also from base game. The Comfy Gamer Kit is going to be the perfect kit for this. And technically The Sims is considered a cozy game by many, so we could add some of these Sims pictures. We'll add a controller, and again I'm gonna add a console just nearby. And because there's so many nods to farming in this category, I think we're gonna need some food pictures of some kind. Like, this is where I could add my kitchen. I'll add a mini fridge here with the cute tabletop oven from Dream Home Decorator. That way we just need a sink here, and we can use this counter here here for prep. Then I'm going to add a dining table in the corner. We can add these chairs. Might be a little squishy with 4 chairs, so let's just do 2 for now. Sims can also play video games on computers, so we could add a couple of laptops with these cute little boba cups from the Comfy Gamer kit. Maybe this sim likes to have their friend over and they play cozy games together on their laptops. Over here, I'm adding this bookshelf. I'll add this comfy chair from high school years. I just moved the TV and console over to this spot just because I was going to add another TV here, but we don't need it since we already had one. And this way we can add a mirror into this space instead. And alright, we've got a very cluttered, cozy gamer build. There's a couple nice cozy gaming areas for our Sims here, and everything in here has a cutesy aesthetic to it, but we do still have to go and do the bathroom, which in this one is really small. We're just gonna need a shower, a sink over to this side with a mirror, and then we can have the toilet on the other side. Again, I'm gonna add another food picture, like this broccoli, why not? And that is gonna be our tiny cozy game bathroom. Oh wait, I forgot about these. I'm gonna display just one of these in my cozy room. That one is of a cross-stitch cow. Again, a nod to all of the farming Sims. Okay, 2 completely different genres side by side. Let's move on. I have this hallway here leading down to the entry of the back 2 apartments. The next apartment we'll build in The Sims 4 is inspired by the platformer video game genre. In this genre, your characters making their way across uneven platforms, requiring jumping, timing, and climbing. There are a ton of classics in this genre, including 2D and 3D Mario games. So in this room, we're gonna have to include surfaces around the entire thing. I want it to look like we're going to have a character that can jump across all of these shelves, so I'm going to wrap them around the entire room. And then all of our decor is going to have to work around these shelves somehow. Like, okay, over in this area, we can add a fridge. We can add these wall displays from high school years. Those could be like item boxes that you jump up and hit, and they can also work as our cabinets, so I'm gonna add those on both sides. We need something to be our character, something that looks like it's running to the side. I found this guy. If we turn him this way, it looks like he's running on an adventure. I guess I'll raise him up here for now, unless I find something better. He's just gonna go up on our platform starting there. And then even though they're so cute, we are gonna need monsters to fight, so we can add these little plush Ewoks, and they can just be kind of like getting in your way. You probably have to jump on their heads. My oven can go here. Ooh, the royal keys. Maybe these are things that you have to find. And we need coins. Oh my gosh, I found some on the gallery. This is where I found them. They're definitely debug items, but I am downloading a ton of them because they are going to be used in my platformer room. I'm going to raise these up on my shelves, but I think they'll be floating above because like you'd have to jump and get them. I feel like these always mark the way to go as well in these games, so you often see them bunched together on like the pathway that you're supposed to take. Over here, you kind of have to drop down from this shelf that's like way up here, so I'm adding some coins leading this way, just indicating the way to go. Now we've got our coins everywhere, and I also want to add some mushrooms. These can be like the one-ups, and then before you wrap back around, there's going to be a boss, and it's this dragon. You have to defeat him before you can move on and get the coins. Now that we have all our platforms figured out, I can go in and manage the rest of the apartment. Like over here, we can fit a bed. This corner is perfect for a hanging plant, which could be interactive as well. Maybe you can jump down on those. Underneath here, I can add these shelves from the Book Nook kit. We can have a rug here. Maybe you have to jump over these books. And under this space, I'll just add a stool. I actually just remembered that in Mario, you can climb up the vines. So like having these here does make sense. Over top of this one, I can add a mirror. I do still need a dining table, so I'll add that with my chairs. Oh, you know what? We could add this dining table underneath this shelf, so it's more so pushed over to the side. And then I think because this is more of like a nostalgic sort of genre, I'm adding this TV on top of this table. And I'm trying to make sure it still wraps around the shelves properly. Then we just need a comfy couch facing this way. The only thing we're missing is the console, and for this one, we're definitely using the nostalgic entertainment system from Adventure Awaits. And I mean, come on, this is a pretty cool one. A room inspired by a platformer in The Sims 4. I could see it. I could see this being a game. I could even see this being the background, like a platformer around someone's house. I'm sure it's been done. I'm sure there's a game like this. I just can't think of one right now, but I think it turned out pretty cool. I did add some more monsters, like these guys. All of our monsters are really sweet. Our bathroom in this one is just a regular bathroom. We got the shower, toilet, sink, nothing too special going on in there, but there we go. We have one more apartment to go. This last apartment in The Sims 4 will be inspired by the puzzle video gaming genre. These are your Candy Crush games games, your Tetris or Sudoku style, and these games rely on logic, pattern recognition, and problem solving. So I have this big open wall here. I'm going to make a puzzle wall using these from high school years. I'm thinking of Candy Crush here, so I'm just gonna add jars of candy. Maybe some of the lollipops can go on here, and this one can have an actual big bed. A lot of these remind me of mobile games, so I'm gonna put a phone by the bed. I'm picturing an older sim living in this one, so I'm going for a bit of an older decor style, and we definitely need to add puzzles. These ones come with the Sims 4 growing together. We can add a rocking chair over here. Our kitchen can go over on this wall. I'll add my fridge here. I actually really wanted to include a chess table, so I'll add that here. But if we have the chess table, it's gonna be awkward adding a space for dining. Like having the two tables back to back might be kind of weird. I wish you could do a tabletop chessboard. Like there is this one, but it's not functional. It's from the Everyday Clutter kit. We have this Tetris picture we can add, and this is our puzzle inspired room in The Sims 4. This one is definitely one of the more relaxed, more like normal looking, I guess. They do still have the console over here. They've got the frame TV. They've got their phone over there, some candy on display. And I did go ahead and finish up the bathroom in this one as well, which is just another simple one. They've just got their toilet and shower and sink. I did pull together the communal floors as well. So in one of the rooms, I added a huge TV. There's another console, some controllers here. Then on this floor, I also added the chess table, an actual functional one, and we have the button basher. And on the top floor, we didn't have many computers, so I did want to add a PC gaming area as well. I'm thinking our story behind this place could be that it's like an esports team living here. Maybe they're all champions of their genres. And then looking at our pinball machine from the top, look how cool this turned out. I think it's so cool how you can look down and see into each of the rooms. This is just such a unique build. There's so much going on inside the pinball machine, like so much to look at. So I hope you guys like this video. Let me know which apartment was your favorite, and let me know if you guys end up making your own pinball machine builds. That shell was easy enough. You could really just do anything you wanted in here with like different themes and stuff. So if you decide to do that, let me know, and let me know your gallery ID so that I can check them out. If you guys like the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.